If you're older and masturbate, I urge you to watch this video till the end, because chances are, no one has ever told you the full truth. Not your doctor, not your friends, not even your younger self. So here's the uncomfortable question no one wants to ask out loud, but millions of men quietly wonder, every single day. Is masturbation still healthy for me? Or is it doing damage I can't see? Maybe you've felt it, a weird soreness in your lower pelvis after a solo session. Or maybe you noticed your erections aren't quite what they used to be. And suddenly, a quiet voice creeps in. Is this harming my prostate? My hormones? My heart? You brush it off. But the worry doesn't go away. Because no matter how natural it might feel, or how common, it's still a taboo. Especially for men over 60. Let's be real. Most of us didn't grow up with reliable sex education. And when it came to self-pleasure, the message was simple: don't. Religious guilt, cultural shame, misinformation passed down through whispers and warnings. And now, decades later, we're left in a strange place: aging bodies, changing hormones, and no clear map to guide us. Some say it protects your prostate. Others say it drains your energy. Some swear it keeps the libido alive. Others claim it desensitizes you to real intimacy. So which is it? Here's the part no one tells you. Most men don't actually know whether masturbation helps or hurts them, because we've never been given clear, adult answers. But behind the confusion, behind the silence, is a staggering truth. Over 60% of men over the age of 60 continue to masturbate regularly. And many of them are doing so with absolutely no understanding of how it's affecting their physical or mental health. They wonder, is this helping my prostate or hurting it? Is it boosting my testosterone or lowering it? Why does it feel amazing one day and exhausting the next? And here's the kicker. Most healthcare providers still don't talk about it, unless you bring it up. And even then, the answers are vague, cautious, conflicted. So let's cut through the noise. This isn't about judgment. It's not about shame. It's not even about right or wrong. It's about understanding. Because masturbation isn't inherently good or bad. It's a tool. And like any tool, how you use it determines whether it heals or harms. In 2016, researchers at the Harvard T.H. Chan School of Public Health published a study that sent ripples through the medical community. They tracked over 30,000 men across nearly 2 decades. Their question? Could the frequency of ejaculation predict a man's long-term prostate health? The answer? Yes. And not just a little. According to the data, men who ejaculated at least 21 times per month had a 33% lower risk of developing prostate cancer compared to those who averaged only 4 to 7 times a month. Let that sink in. The most common cancer in older men, potentially reduced, not by medication, not by surgery, but by regular ejaculation. That's not all. Orgasm, regardless of whether it's with a partner or solo, triggers a cascade of hormonal benefits. Dopamine spikes. Oxytocin floods the brain. Cortisol, the stress hormone, plummets. Why does that matter? Because high cortisol isn't just about stress. It's directly linked to high blood pressure, weight gain, fatigue, and even lower testosterone. So when you masturbate and you orgasm, you're not just relieving tension. You're literally rebalancing your entire neuroendocrine system. Your heart rate slows. Your muscles relax. Your brain shifts into a restorative state. That's not fantasy. That's biochemistry. Now imagine this sequence happening consistently, not compulsively but regularly, across the weeks of a given month. The benefits compound. And yet, we almost never hear about this. Why? Because the conversation around masturbation in older men is still wrapped in secrecy and shame. We're taught to ignore it, joke about it, or worse, feel guilt for even asking. But here's the hard science. Mayo Clinic confirms that orgasm can improve immune response by increasing levels of immunoglobulin A. The Journal of Urology has published findings showing that regular ejaculation may lower inflammation markers in the prostate. Neuroscience researchers from the University of Groningen found that orgasm leads to measurable increases in serotonin, the neurotransmitter responsible for mood stability. Still think this is just about pleasure? Let's go deeper. During climax, the pelvic floor muscles, those hidden bands of muscle under your bladder and around your base, contract rhythmically. Every contraction is like a mini workout. And over time, these contractions strengthen your pelvic floor. That matters because weak pelvic floor muscles can lead to erectile dysfunction, urinary leakage, difficulty reaching orgasm, loss of ejaculatory control. But with regular stimulation and full completion, meaning you don't stop halfway, these muscles stay active, responsive, and toned. It's the male version of a Kegel. But that's not where the surprises end. Let's talk about sleep. You've probably felt it, the heaviness in your eyelids after climax, the warm, foggy calm that settles over your body. That's not just relaxation, it's neurochemistry at work. The hormone prolactin is released in massive quantities after orgasm. It tells your body it's time to rest. Combine that with reduced cortisol and a rise in oxytocin, and you have a perfect storm for deep, restorative sleep. Some sleep researchers even suggest that orgasm can improve sleep latency, how fast you fall asleep, and sleep quality, especially in older adults. So let's recap what the data reveals. Lower prostate cancer risk, reduced inflammation, lower cortisol, better sleep, improved mood, stronger pelvic floor, boosted immune markers. Now let me ask you, have you ever had a doctor explain masturbation this way? Has anyone ever connected these dots for you? Probably not. And that's the problem. Because when no one talks about the upsides, we end up focusing only on the shame or ignoring our bodies altogether. But here's where it gets complicated, because even though the science shows real benefits, there are risks too. And most of them don't come from how much you masturbate, they come from how you do it, the way you sit, the technique you use, the frequency, the visual stimulation, even the emotional reason behind why you're doing it. These hidden factors could be sabotaging your health in ways that don't show up until it's too late. So while the Harvard study may have shocked the world with its findings, it only tells half the story. Because the real question isn't just, is it healthy to masturbate? The real question is, are you doing it in a way that helps your body or quietly damages it? So we've seen the science. The benefits are real. Lower prostate risk, stronger pelvic muscles, better sleep, better mood, better hormones. But here's the uncomfortable truth. Most men aren't doing it right, not because they're reckless, not because they're weak, but because they've never been shown how to adapt this natural act to an aging body. What worked at 25 doesn't necessarily work at 65. Let's start with the most common silent issue, pudendal nerve compression. It sounds complicated, but imagine this. You're sitting on a hard chair, legs spread, hunched over, maybe laptop open. You stay in that position, maybe for 10, 15, 30 minutes. It feels normal, but over time, that seated angle can compress a nerve that runs directly to your genitals and pelvic floor. The pudendal nerve controls sensation, blood flow, and even muscular function in the area. Squeeze it too often, too long, and you could experience numbness, tingling, erectile dysfunction, chronic pelvic pain, all from something as simple as bad posture during stimulation. And that's just the beginning. Let's talk about microtrauma. Men often think, if it feels good, it must be fine. But over years, using the exact same grip, pressure, and motion, especially without lubrication, can cause repetitive strain injuries to the skin and underlying tissues. We're talking skin irritation, micro tears, inflammation, desensitization of the nerve endings. You might not notice it at first, but over time it builds, and suddenly your sensitivity drops, or climax takes longer, or you can't feel anything during partner intimacy. That's not aging. That's conditioning. Your brain and your penis are learning a very narrow stimulation pattern. And once that wiring sets in, it's hard to break. It's like listening to music on full volume through noise-canceling headphones every day. Eventually, your ears need that volume just to register the sound. The same thing happens with sexual response, which brings us to one of the most misunderstood risks, porn-induced expectation bias. You've probably heard the debates, is porn good or bad? Let's put morality aside. We're talking neuroplasticity. Your brain adapts to what it's exposed to. If most of your arousal comes from fast-cut, extreme, high-stimulus visual content, it can rewire your sexual triggers. That means when you're finally with a real person, slower, messy, imperfect, it just doesn't match the neural signature your brain now expects. Result? Performance anxiety, delayed ejaculation, or no arousal at all. And if you're already dealing with reduced testosterone, lower blood flow, or hormonal shifts, this mismatch only amplifies the problem. So let's take stock. What starts as a healthy act can spiral into postural injuries, pelvic nerve damage, reduced sexual sensitivity, emotional disconnection, difficulty performing with a partner, shame, secrecy, or even relationship conflict. And the irony? It's all preventable. Now, let's go deeper. Why do these issues even develop? Here's the biological truth. As men age, several things change. Blood flow decreases. The vascular system becomes less efficient. This impacts not just erections, but recovery and sensation. Testosterone levels drop. This affects libido, motivation, even the intensity of orgasm. Pelvic floor weakens. Less muscle tone means reduced ejaculatory force, less control, and greater risk of incontinence. Neural pathways dull. The brain-body connection becomes slower. Sensory feedback takes longer. Arousal becomes more mental than physical. Put simply, the engine still works, but the oil is old, the tires are worn, and the roads are bumpier. That doesn't mean you stop driving. It means you change how you drive. So, what does a healthy solo practice look like in your 60s and beyond? It's intentional. It's gentle. It's aligned with how your body works now, not 30 years ago. And believe it or not, it can even be a diagnostic tool. Because regular self-stimulation helps you stay familiar with your own anatomy. You're more likely to spot unusual lumps, penile curvature, skin changes, testicular swelling. These are early signs of issues like Peyronie's disease, testicular cancer, or fibrosis. In other words, masturbation can literally save your life if done with awareness. But it doesn't stop there. Solo touch can also reveal your emotional patterns. Are you using it to escape boredom, to numb stress, to avoid real connection? These aren't judgments. They're insights. Because self-pleasure, when done unconsciously, becomes a default coping mechanism. When done with awareness, it becomes a practice of connection with your body, your mind, and even your healing. So here's the real bombshell. Masturbation isn't just physical. It's diagnostic. It's hormonal. It's neurological. And most of all, it's a mirror. A mirror that reflects how you're aging, how you're coping, how you're relating to yourself. But what if you could turn that mirror into a map? In the final part of this video, we'll give you that map. The top 5 habits every man over 60 should adopt to protect his pelvic health, enhance sensitivity, and stay strong, vital, and sexually alive on his own terms. Because pleasure doesn't have to end as you age. But conscious pleasure? That's where the power truly begins. So now that you know the truth, the real risks, the real rewards, and the science no one talks about, what do you actually do with it? Let's get practical. These are the 5 habits every man over 60 should adopt to turn masturbation into a source of vitality, not a hidden health liability. 1. Switch your position. Protect the pudendal nerve. This may sound simple, but it's game-changing. Ditch the hard chair. Avoid hunching. Never stay in one static seated posture too long, especially one that puts pressure on your perineum. Instead, try lying back in bed or reclining with full lower back support. Use pillows under your knees to relieve tension in your pelvic floor. You're not just making yourself comfortable, you're preserving sensation, circulation, and nerve health. 2. Use lubrication every time. You may not have needed it in your 20s, but now it's essential. A good quality, water-based lubricant reduces micro-tears in the skin, minimizes friction, and protects the sensitive nerve endings that allow for pleasure and responsiveness. Think of it as joint oil for your sexual engine. It keeps everything running smoothly and helps prevent desensitization or irritation down the road. 3. Vary technique and tempo. If your brain is only trained to respond to one exact type of stimulation, same speed, same grip, same scenario, you're setting yourself up for what's called neural rigidity. That's when your arousal only works under very narrow, specific conditions. To avoid this, do what athletes call cross-training. Change your hand, change your rhythm, use slower, gentler movements. Focus on sensation, not just speed or release. You're training your nervous system to stay flexible, which makes partnered intimacy more fluid and satisfying too. 4. Listen to your hormones. Don't overdo it. Now here's where moderation matters. While the Harvard study showed benefits at 21 times per month, more is not always better, especially if you're feeling depleted afterward. Pay attention to how you feel afterward. Energized, rested, or drained, foggy, even irritable? These are signals. Your body is speaking. Some men may feel great with 3 to 4 times a week. Others may benefit from spacing things out. There's no universal number, but there is such a thing as too much frequency, especially if your energy, mood, or sensitivity starts to drop. And if you notice you only get erections during solo time, but not with a partner, that's a red flag. It's time for a full hormonal panel, including testosterone, DHT, estradiol, prolactin, and PSA levels. You wouldn't drive cross-country without checking your oil. Don't keep pushing your body without knowing where your levels stand. 5. Use it as a health check, not a hiding place. This might be the most important point of all. When you self-pleasure, do it consciously, not out of habit, not just to pass time. Ask yourself, am I noticing any pain, numbness, or swelling? Are there changes in my skin or sensitivity? Am I using this to connect with myself or to escape something I'm avoiding. Because masturbation, when used as a conscious health check, becomes a powerful feedback system. It can reveal issues early. It can strengthen your pelvic control. It can boost your emotional well-being. And yes, it can feel damn good too. But when it becomes unconscious, disconnected, or compulsive, it turns from a health practice into a trap. So, let's reframe this entire conversation. It's not about morality. It's not about embarrassment. It's not about how often you do it. It's about how you relate to your body. Are you ignoring it or tuning in? Because at this stage of life, your body is whispering. And the men who age with strength, clarity, and vitality, they're the ones who listen. They adapt. They stay curious. They make small, smart changes. And those changes add up to a radically better experience of aging. So here's your toolbox: conscious posture, quality lube, technique variety, hormone awareness, emotional presence, no shame, no guilt, no hiding, just clear, practical steps to turn something you already do into a path toward greater health, deeper self-knowledge, and longer-lasting vitality. Because it's not dangerous. In fact, for many men, it's essential. Essential for circulation. Essential for pelvic health. Essential for staying connected to a body that's evolving, not breaking down. So, if you're over 60 and you still masturbate, good. Now just do it smarter. Use it as a tool, not a crutch. Respect it as a mirror, not a mask. And most of all, treat it as part of your long-term strategy to live well, age strong, and own every part of your masculinity without apology. If you found value in this, tell us in the comments what you wish someone had told you 20 years ago. Subscribe for more deep dives into the topics no one else will touch, and let us know what we should investigate next. Because your health deserves better than silence. And now you've got the truth.